Recording to this computer. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy day one of week three. Excuse me? I kind of feel like I'm maybe ready for week one. Like maybe in a few days I'll be ready for week one, but like still need some time here. Um, but I am officially I can share this now because it's just the core squad. I wasn't sure if there was like a bunch of people, but I found out last night I hit month one of team leader and 95%, and I've done nothing this month. I
Yeah.
wrote one baby accidental and he can't even pay for it. So it's not issuing because all he has is Chime. So cool. So these 3 weeks. And here's where I'm going. I talked to Maura this morning. I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk
I said
about, but
I
I
want to
really
get it into a different.
no, you get in that cup. And Mama's busy now. So you've got 15 minutes to do what you do, girlfriend. You got pup struction, you got cheese, you got yogurt.
But
Get it, girl. What do you need? Okay, you know what to do with that. Okay. Can you please go on the couch?
sure.
Thank you so much. Why don't you make 2 trips? Okay. Okay. So now that I say that out loud, I'm like, I haven't done nothing. Like I've done some stuff, but I am simultaneously in like, cool, I'm not missing a month too. And also next week will be our final new moon. We will be in our final 13th moon cycle before the official new year in February. You guys know that I'm on this like New Year's isn't the new year. February 17th is my new year. Cool. Um, and we get to hit our goals and make some money in the meantime, right? End of the year does not mean you completely unplug. Now, if your new year, if you treat January 1st as your new year, then that's kind of what we're used to, is a lot of people unplug. They have time off. They don't work, not necessarily in our industry, but like in the world. Like December tends to be this like, I'm not focused on work. I might be working, but I'm not like giving a shit about what's going on. Um, and so it does shift a little bit when we're looking at a mid-February new year. And so, um, one thing that's in my mind, something that keeps coming up for me is efficiency. And how do we honor both of those, right? How do we honor the fact that we have goals and we have bills to pay? We have things we want to do, we have momentum we want to create, and this is also a season of shedding and resting and recovery and yes, absolutely having grace. Thank you. Want to show them the yogurt on your face? That's cute. Um, so the word efficiency keeps coming up. I posted about this on Instagram. It was one of my reels this week on a day that it was 11 o'clock at night for the everyday challenge. I am posting on social every day. I had no ideas. I had no drafts. I had nothing. It was 11 o'clock. I was freaking tired. And I just kept, I sometimes like feel a disconnect between what I'm like dealing with and talking about and thinking about in my life. And then I go to post on social media, and for some reason, like there's no bridge between like the thing that's present for me and the thing that I want to post on social media. So I
Mommy,
was like, whatever. I like looked for ideas. I was scrolling around. I was looking at trends. I was like, I have no ideas.
mom,
I have nothing.
mommy,
Any other time of day, ask me anything. I've got 14 things in my brain that I could probably post about.
I
Um,
without you.
okay, that's okay. You can give our little boy a little bit of that. So the post, which did not go viral, I think it should have, but it was about how no amount of doing, this isn't going to be like earth shattering, you guys, you've heard me say this, no amount of doing is going to get us to our goals if we don't believe. And I don't mean like, I believe, like if our programming, if our nervous system, if our brain, the part of our brain we can't access that kind of just runs the show, if there is not a belief system that I am worthy or deserving or capable of hitting the goal I have, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's gonna be because we forced it and we grinded, and we're likely gonna lose it or we're gonna burn out at the end of it. Um, I've done this before. I've made a ton of money only to go back in debt. I've gotten out of debt only to get back in debt. I've made a bunch of money just to have to spend all the money. Um, and it's because I haven't rewired my belief system, my brain. And that feels very daunting, right? And so this concept of efficiency, we hear it, right? We hear the do more, we hear the like dial more, show up more, sacrifice more time with your family. And this is actually making me think of a call that Jim did. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, when Jim was talking about how he would be impressed if he fails again at his weight or his income goals, because that means he found a new way to fail because he has spent year after year after year plugging the holes. Now, love Jim to death, you'll know this. Um, he missed something. He talked about how things don't happen because we want them, and things don't happen because we think about them or we put them on a vision board. Things don't happen because he talked about tolerance, right? That's what it came down to, is that think what we make happen is what we're able to tolerate. But he gave a really good example of how he did all of the things, right? He changed the environment. He got the alcohol out of the house. He set the alarms. He got off his phone. He listed all the doing, and how that still wasn't enough. So what did he miss? What he missed was he did not address the core belief system. He did not address. Now, as he talked about tolerance, there was a very subtle connection between what we tolerate, because what we tolerate is based on our belief system. But I want to like cut through all of the fancy layers on top and like get down to like what it actually is that the belief system is not aligned with, so we're believing that we can't do it, but we're doing things trying to make it happen, and we're literally driving a car in two different directions. um while we're small, and I know we only have 5 minutes, I could talk about this forever. But does anybody have anything that they are currently like they want or they're going for, but they kind of know that maybe the belief system isn't there? And you can either unmute, or if you want to put it in the chat. I would love to have like a real life example, and I can share one of mine, but I like interaction when we're small and cozy. Maura, I saw your hand move towards the.
Um, I just left you a message this morning about this, but my retiring, that's the best way to describe it. My husband, like bringing my husband home from teaching. I want that with everything that I have, and he wants that, but we keep tripping over the actual like making it happen. We've gotten close before, and then we pulled back. Um, so that's where it came up again this morning, and that's where we're sitting. Like,
Yeah.
we both have to believe it's real for it to happen.
Yeah, that I don't know why this has nothing to do with it, but it reminds me, and I think I'm glad you said that, because it kind of gives me this idea. Because when we believe, like if we knew in our heart of hearts that we could do that, and you and I have talked about this, right? That like if that happened, you would have so much more support to dedicate to the business, right? You wouldn't have to be the one picking up the kids if they're sick or going to doctor's appointments. You would be able to handle all of that, which would give you not only more time to work your business, but more energetic, emotional
Mommy.
energy, right? Like the energy and the capacity to dial
Mommy.
more, book more, close more, etc. I am busy. Now is the time that you have to be patient. No, no, that's not the right remote, honey, for the TV. You got to get the other remote. Why don't you just watch Pupstruction until Mama's all done? And if the knowing, the believing was there, it wouldn't be a question. It would just be, you would just do it and you would trust and know that you're figuring it out. Um, and there is a little bit of a leap of faith. And one of the first things that I always think about is in terms is the evidence that we're collecting. And this is something like knowing the inside of your brain, Maura, because I know what's going on in your brain most of the time. And this is not just true for you, this is true for all of us. And we've talked about it before, but we are collecting evidence. This is what our brain is doing. This is the hack. I'm gonna give you guys a secret to all of it. And it's not easy. I'm not gonna make it any easier. If anything, I might make it harder because it's gonna be annoying. And you guys, if you've been here long enough, you probably heard me talk about this. But our brain has a belief system. That belief system is based on something that happened, that our brain created, a thought, a belief, a story that our brain created before we were 8 years old. We are all 8-year-olds in adult bodies out there interacting and engaging with the world. So since we were 8, do the math. How old are you minus 8? For 30, 40, 50, 25, 12, however many years it's been since you were 8 years old. That's how many years your brain has been collecting evidence that that belief system, that that story, that that bullshit is correct. And it didn't even have to be big, huge trauma, you guys. I'm talking like you were a toddler and your single mom had to go take a shower and left you alone for 5 minutes and you got hungry. And mama wasn't right there in that very moment because she was showering, right? And your brain made some shit up about your worth or about your importance or about what you deserve. And that sticks. Our brains are so sticky when we're young. Okay, so say it turned into you're not worthy, right? You are not important. You are not capable, whatever it was. That little brain spends a lifetime collecting evidence about why that's true, right? So then you go to school and you want to make friends with somebody, and the girl you want to be friends with doesn't want to be friends. She doesn't want to play with you. She wants to play with this other kid who's doing something cooler, right? Ding, you're worthy. Or that same day, right? You want yogurt and cheese for dinner. And mom says, no, you're eating what I'm making for dinner, right? Ding, 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 ding. Millions of dings, millions of pieces of evidence. So, how we interrupt it. I know I said I was going to talk about efficiency and I went on a completely different tangent. We can talk about efficiency too. But what we have to consciously do, because all of this is happening in the part of our brain that we have no control over. So consciously, we have to start collecting evidence that that story, that belief is not correct. Here's some additional hacks on top of that. A, get a journal. Get an evidence notebook. One journal just dedicated to the evidence that what I want to believe is true. Now, we know that it takes 200-300 synapses in the brain before we can start to rewire something. But if you're playing or working out, if you're laughing, if you're having fun, it actually is like 10 to 15. So, there's a million ways to do this, right? Maura knows this. When I get on my vibration plate, I laugh. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. There's endorphins running through my body. I'm shaking. I'm talking because I do boxer while I'm on my vibration plate, and it makes my voice sound funny. And my daughter plays on it, and we laugh. So what if while I was doing that, I was saying my affirmations or I recorded my affirmations and I had them in my ear? What if I was talking to myself? I do this on my vibration plate. I just ramp myself up. Today's going to be a good day. Today's going to be the best day. I don't even know what's going to happen, but I'm so ready for whatever miracles that the universe is going to deliver me today because I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready and I'm so deserving and I'm so worthy of miracles happening today. So show me, show me God, show me universe. Do that while you're playing, while you're laughing. Maybe you ride your bike, maybe you go for runs, maybe you go to the gym. Like record yourself saying all the things you want to believe and put them in your ear while you're laughing and having fun or playing or working out or dancing or whatever. Um, and the important thing is that you don't just like do this and then forget about it. Because how many pieces of evidence do you have from the past 20, 30, 40 years? You need a lot of this needs to be like a thing, and that's work. Welcome to your new job. You now have a new full-time job, which is rewiring your belief system. There are meditations that can support with this. There are cord cutting meditations. There are anything by Joe Dispenza. Highly recommend for this. Tapping, EFT tapping, absolutely great. Hypnosis. If you need a recommendation, I got one for that too. Yeah, I got recommendations up the whatever. Um, because here it's possible. It's 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 possible. And I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way, but what I realized when I made that post, that no amount of doing, we think it's so common and it's so easy to just think of, I have a goal, here's what I need to do to get there. But how do I need to be? What are the ways of being I need to embody to get there? Because this work of changing your belief system is not about a doing. I just gave you some things you can do to do it, but ultimately it's about embodying a new way intentionally and not just letting your emotions take over and your emotions be in control. Like you get to pick. That's like the greatest fault of our brain is that we believe that because we think something or we feel something that it's right. When you can learn that your brain is wrong all the time, and your brain wants to keep you small and it wants to keep you safe. And there is a big part of your brain that is not actually supportive of you going for what you want. It's not your biggest cheerleader. It kind of changes everything when you start to have that perspective because it would be really cool if we're like, oh, our brain is like protecting us. And so like, and it is, but not in the way of like cheering us to like get uncomfortable or to change or to do something new. That is not what our brain's job is. It's the opposite. And so we have to work with our brain because we also need to be grateful because the reason our brain is protecting us is because the coping mechanisms and those belief systems kept us safe for a long period of time. Those are the things that kept us safe. Without those things, we'd all be dead. So we also get to be grateful for those parts of our brain. So, I can go on an efficiency tangent. I have a few more minutes. I feel like that's probably like a good point to at least hit pause, if not to stop. But I definitely like, does this track? What questions do you have? Put them in the chat. Like, I'm totally open. I know we normally wrap at 9:15. So if you guys got to go, go. But if you want to keep going, if you have questions or if you want me to say more about a part of that, because I want this to connect. Like, I want you to leave this way being like, oh, that makes perfect sense. And I know where to go from here. I don't want it to be like, ooh, that feels like a really fluffy idea that like Marcy pulled out of the sky. And it like I want it to feel concrete, right? Like I want it to feel really real. So I'm gonna shut up. Questions? Want me to riff on more? Talk to me.
I love
Where,
this. You can keep going.
Mhm.
You're like, I don't have anything to say, but I'm here for it. Okay.
Do you follow Joe Dispenza on Instagram? Is that where you find his content or YouTube?
It's a great question. I don't think I follow him. If I do follow him on Instagram, his shit does not come up in my feed. I have a bunch of his books.
Okay.
He has a show on Gaia called Wired or Rewired, which I think you can also get on YouTube because Gaia you have to pay for, but I know with Gaia you can also do like a free trial. Um, so much good stuff on Gaia if you're into what I'm talking about. And yeah, YouTube for sure. I just read his books. So the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, there's actually like meditations that he teaches you of how to wake up, your the thing, the thing in your brain that you need to wake up to rewire. It'll come to me. The little peanut. Anybody know what it's called? Anybody know their neuropsychology? The little peanut. I'll think of it. Um,
The
but yeah,
prefrontal
I
cortex?
No, it's
The only thing that's coming to mind right now is amygdala, and I don't think that's right.
it is not the amygdala, though. That is also very, very that's our fear center. That's a very important part of our brain when we're talking about this kind of work. I'm just gonna look up peanut in brain. Um, Joe Dispenza. The pineal gland. Pineal, Paneal. Brain peanut. Yes, we'll just call it the brain peanut. Um, but that is like his meditations actually like encourage and activate that part of the brain where that is like key for like instantaneously rewiring your brain. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Okay. You guys want me to riff on efficiency for a minute? Or you guys want to go get after your okay, Kimberly's like, absolutely, yeah. She was nodding before I even finished the sentence. Okay, let's talk about efficiency. So as we talk about this is where like the more strategic or the more not the just do more. That's not efficient. How many drop in the chat? How long have you guys been? If you you are all yeah, I share this with some non-symmetry people, but you guys are all with symmetry. How long have you been in life insurance? Drop it in the chat. Months, years, days, 3 years. I feel like I should know this because I talk to you guys so often, but drop in the chat what you have. So my next question for you. Okay, 3 years minus one. Okay. Okay. Um, So 2 years, 3 years. So for those of you who've been here for more than a year, okay, Jeanette's been on and off for since 2020. All right. Do you guys keep track of your numbers? All your ratios? Every single one. Cool. Okay. Do you guys know what? So if you want to make X number of dollars, do you know exactly how many dials you need to do, how many appointments you need to set, how many appointments you need to run to make that amount of money? Like, have you done enough where you can kind of reverse engineer? Okay, we have the math done. Okay. I don't want to get this wrong. Alima, is it Alima? Is that how you pronounce your name? Can you unmute and tell me how to say your name? Okay, Alima. Okay. That is my biggest fear when I'm dialing is getting a name that I cannot pronounce. Oh, it's like I feel sick to my stomach until I'm like, I'm so sorry. Please tell me how to say your name. Not the dials anymore, but the appointment set sat. No, you're totally fine, Alima. I didn't want to like be over here like spewing your name and be offending you. This is where for dials, I think for all of these ratios, they all change when you switch lead types, which is why I say let's just pick a lead type and work it forever. Maybe not forever, like switch it up, but like I switched to digital leads in September and like I basically can't look at my whole year if I want accuracy because how I was working my CD leads is very different than how I work my digital leads, right? And my ratios are totally different. So this is where I think I see a lot of people. So I'm on Jim's spreadsheet. And there's only a handful of people on Jim's spreadsheet anymore. But there are people who like barely put any dials up, right? And they do 10,000 a week. And then you have people who put up 1,000 dials a week and they don't even set an appointment, right? And so my brain is always like, like plug the hole, right? Like Jim was talking about. So when it comes to efficiency, here's what I want you guys to do. With these numbers, do you all know where is your leak? Where's your first leak? Like, is it the number of dials you're making? Is it the number of contacts you're making? Is it the number of appointments you're setting? Is it your show rate? Is it your close rate? Is it your issue rate? Where do your ratios fall below the industry standard? And do you know the industry standards? We could talk about that if you guys have questions about that. Um, you track dials. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. The amount of contacts. Okay. So dials are good, but Kimberly, you think that if you could just reach more people, that you could set more appointments, they would all show up, they'd all write policies, and all those policies would issue. Maybe not all, but like based on right? Like it's standards, not all, not 100%, but like, okay, so that's okay. Number of contacts for Kimberly, show rate, and closing rate. Okay, it's the first leak. Yep, and that's where we start. Okay. So all of this data, it's data. It's information. We get to be neutral about it, right? We see a lot of people who are going and 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 going, and they're not plugging that leak, right? They're not fixing that thing. So, what happens if you carve out time? Who has time carved out in their week to get better? Not personal development, professional development, getting better, talking to the people that are good at what you're not good at, listening to calls that are very specific, right? Archived calls that are specific to the thing that you need to work on. How many people have protected time in their week for professional development? Nobody.
I can't
Okay,
type fast enough, but I go into Michael Minch's trainings every time he has them because I
cool.
learn something new on every one that can
Yeah.
help me with what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. I love that. And sometimes that might look like you have a mentor that like you can like talk to or somebody who you have built a relationship with so you can like plug into them. Um, this is something that I think, with the rhetoric that we hear a lot, which is like just do more, and you'll get better in the process. But not always. Like if we don't know how to sell and we're trying to sell, we got to actually go learn how to sell. Like, think about it. If you didn't know, this is a stupid example, but go with me. If you didn't know how to dial a phone number on your phone, like if you didn't know how to use a phone and you didn't know how to make a phone call, you got to go learn how to do that before you can make a phone call. You can't for 4 hours a day try to figure it out. You might figure it out at some point, but like you got to learn how to do it. And so I do love that we get to earn while we learn and we get to like learn as we go. I think there is absolutely space for that. But what I am prioritizing in 2026 is creating space to get better at what I need to get better. For me, it's underwriting.
Mommy.
You want to say hi? I can't. I'm doing something, but I will come there as soon as I can. Do you want to say hi? Mora was trying to say hi to you. Remember Mora? Yeah, she's the one I talk to all the time. You can say hi. You can say, oh, we're being shy. Okay. All right. You go in there. I'll be there in a couple minutes. I promise. I'll wrap it up. Um, Underwriting, y'all, my issue rate was trash for a minute there. And part of that was because my underwriting was kind of lazy. And so I have dedicated time, right, of doing the underwriting and learning different policies and learning all the little nuances and getting better about the questions that I'm asking in the appointments and feeling comfortable in the appointment to be like, oh, shoot, this thing came up. I was going to go banner, but this thing came up and now I know you're not going to qualify for banners. Or we're not going to keep going with banner because I know it's not going to work because I asked the right questions, right? So now we get to pivot in the second. So when it comes to efficiency, you guys, work it's about working smarter, not harder. It's about maximizing the hours that you do have. Like you guys know that sometimes I'm full-time, sometimes I'm part-time in terms of how many hours I can put in a week. And Kimberly, a full-time job, right? So you're working outside of this. So like we we need to concentrate. We need to collapse the timeline. And the way that we're going to do that is by tracking your numbers. If you don't have do you have a dial calculator? I don't know if this is like a common thing. This is something I created for myself. But do you have a calculator where if you put in dial amount, it will tell you how much money you're going to make? Ooh, this is my favorite thing. Thank you, honey. Let me show you guys mine. Um, So I want you guys to think about in terms of how can I collapse time? How can I get more out of my hours? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to get in front of? One thing I just did, I just completely overhauled my weekly flow of what days I'm working, what days my leads are dropping, what days I'm dialing, what days I'm running appointments. I see you. I see you stealing those muffins. Um, and because I was like, my dial time was the day before I didn't work for 2 days. So like, why would I dial if I can't set appointments for the next 2 days? Just like, and so I was constantly like, well, I don't need to dial, or I shouldn't dial because I can't set an appointment for 3 to 4 days out. That's stupid. I had to completely restructure, which means changing the days that my family is with my daughter, which means changing the time that I get up in the morning, which changes the states that I'm working. So sometimes you got to kind of overhaul, but let me show you this and then we're going to wrap it. I don't feel like this. Oh, okay. You are not allowed to have 5 muffins. Okay. Let me show you this. Um, but when it comes to efficiency, I want you guys to really look at like where can you maximize? Where can you like shrink the time? Where can we can like condense? And that might mean that you have some time for a short period of time that is typically income producing, but we're shifting. Or maybe it means you get up earlier in the morning or you stay up later at night. You got to figure out what you got to do. Um, but we talk a lot about personal development here. What about professional development? And not just being on calls. You can be on 20 calls a week. But if those calls aren't talking about the thing that you specifically need to get good at, then you're wasting your time. All of those calls are recorded. Catch the replays. Okay, let me share my screen. This is really easy to make. This is my dial calculator. Okay, so this is the one I've been working with right now, because I changed to digital leads in September, but I have like an all-time, I have a last 6 months, and then I have September to December, because those are the 4 months that I exclusively was working digital. So I can put any number in here. Oh no. And it will change. Sorry, I don't know why that happened. But I put it was at 1,000 and that spit out that I would make 10,000 up front. I changed it to 2,000. That puts me at 20,000. But it breaks it down of if I make 2,000 dials based on my current ratios, I should talk to 214 people. I should set 126 appointments. I should run 64. I should submit 44. I should issue 25. This is where I hit my issue rates trash. But this is how much I should submit based on this is based on my commission rate, et cetera. So this is how much money. So basically I could reverse engineer. What I wish there was is I did it the opposite way where I could put in the amount of money I need, and I could probably do that. But this shows me, and we could even make another column of like, what is the percentage? I have that over here. I have my rate. Oh my God, what is happening? What is happening right now? Oh, I'm in Safari and not Chrome. That's what's happening. So here are my actual like ratios that dial calculator is coming off of. So like know your numbers. Know your numbers and like leave into them. And then just pick one thing. Pick one thing. And Jim says this all the time, like don't come back next month being bad at the same thing you've been bad at. Like pick a thing and give yourself some time and collapse that time. Now, I will also tell you that your belief system, what we talked about first, is going to help collapse that time even more so. This was really long. Thank you guys for hanging with me for a longer thing. Desire Map Workshop is not happening today because nobody signed up for it, which is totally fine. I trust the universe on that one. I didn't really do a whole lot in terms of like reminding or whatever. But as always, for if you guys don't know, just shameless little plug, Desire Map, since I am a licensed facilitator, if you want to do a one-on-one for desire mapping to get those core desired feelings, or if you want to do human design, I am licensed certified to do those things. And we can do private 1 hour, 2 hour. Maura has done some human design stuff before. Those are always on the table just in terms of the clarity. Right, the energetic clarity that we need to move forward, so all of this gets a little bit easier. But I'm here for you. If you are not in the group me, I am scrolling back to grab the link. I love that Zoom shows me all of the chats from previous calls. I don't know if it shows you guys that. But I can scroll back to previous ones. So here is the Saturday accountability. Group me, that's where we just things that we need to reference. If there's anything I talked about today that you guys want to link for, I know we talked about Joe Dispenza, but like hypnosis, EFT, any of the other things that we talked about, I'm happy to share those references in there. I'm gonna go take care of this girl who I think she's eating a whole package of blueberry mini muffins. So I'm gonna go.
Boy.
I'm gonna go take care of that. But thank you guys for being here and for sticking around. And I will see you guys in the back room. I think I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to be in the back room today. If not, I'll see you guys on Monday accountability or whenever I see you next. But I love you guys. Happy Saturday. Happy day 1 of week 3. Happy January. Happy all the things. And I will see you guys soon.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.